It's We'll See About That with World Series MVP Ron Cey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to We'll See About That. Ron Cey here with Mike Gary and our local sit-in, as usual, Corey Moreno. It is the middle of June. The school is out, and my grandkids are running crazy, and we had a great time up in Northern California with my daughter's oldest, who graduated from elementary school. So that was a nice little family party up there. So we're getting ready for the summer. And speaking of summer, the World Cup is alive and well in the United States. And the Scottish people that are representing their World Cup team are having a kegger or two, aren't they?
Indeed, they are. According to this, they're apparently, because they're based in Boston right now.
Yeah.
And Sam Adams, which is of course the famous brewery, they drank them dry. They literally drank the Sam Adams tap room dry, and they had to go outsource and find some more kegs.
They apparently went through 90 kegs. It was 4 times the allotment normally over a weekend. I heard that they had to put in an emergency request for beer.
They had to chopper in some extra kegs. Oh my
God! And they also went to a Boston Red Sox game, and they were having. It was a complete reversal for them of what a soccer game looks like, right? There's people spread out, and there's mixed people rooting for this and that when they usually have their own section of people. So, they were still partying it up regardless. The barbecues, I guess, were going over big too.
Yep. And they were actually they ran out of beer twice because they ran out of beer on the plane. Scottish plane. In 15 minutes from takeoff, they were already out of beer from Scotland.
Oh, my God.
God bless them. And some of these videos just you see on Instagram are great of these foreign international fans, Japanese, South Korean, Scottish, really kind of getting their first taste of American culture, like going to the Waffle House for the first time. Yeah. And there was a great photo or a video of a Japanese gentleman at a Mexican restaurant. He had no idea that they gave, chips and salsa gratis. And he was just like, what did we do to deserve this, this largesse from our American friends? So it's been great. It's been
that's beautiful. We've got a couple more things we can discuss after we come back from this break. Stay tuned We'll See About That right after this. They still call me the Penguin.
All right, we are back. We'll see about that with the legend, the champion, the MVP, Mr. Ron Cey. And just a reminder, as always, that Melissa's is a proud partner of We'll See About That. Make sure to use Ron's VIP code RONCEY, one word, RONCEY. When checking out at melissas.com, get yourself a nice fruit basket, maybe a gift basket for Father's Day. It's not too late. And enjoy some fruit while you're watching all this great summer action.
Okay, I don't know if any of you guys watched the event that was held at the White House, the circus, and I'd like to kind of get your reaction to the event. There's a lot of mixed reviews going on.
Of course, we're talking about the UFC event that was held nominally for President Trump's birthday / the American 250. I didn't watch it because I'm not an MMA fan. I did see the coverage, though, of Travis Pastrana flipping motorcycles out front of the White House, on a ramp. And I'm like, we are truly living in idiocracy at this point. So it's Ron, you wake up and you see something and you're just like, I can't believe that. And it feels like that's been every day of my life for the past 10 years.
Well, you're experiencing the same kind of thing that I am. Corey, what's your take on the event?
Yeah, I was working at at the brewery I work with, so I didn't get to see much. But right when I got off, all I saw on the internet was one of the guys who won had said that Michelle Obama was a man.
Yeah,
and
classy.
it was a real classy moment. And
well, to put this in perspective, because these are the facts, Dana White is the promoter of this event, and he is a huge Trump supporter. And it was referred to for some of the things that I read, that this was more like Rome at its peak. The gladiators and the fighting and the zoo. Not on the lawn of the White House, please. And Dana White, actually, to his credit, said this would not be an event that he would support doing again.
Yeah, he did say that because of I think not so much because it was, an embarrassment nationally, but I think it's because of the weather. But yeah, I mean, it's bread and circuses. It's the exact, very similar historical thing that the Roman poet Juvenal said, in about 100 CE. That's pretty much, whatever's going on politically or militarily or anything else in society, so the certain portion of the public, they just want their bread, they want their circuses.
Yeah. And the part that's even more concerning is the fact that nobody had the courtesy to apologize for that. Dana White did not. President Trump, of course, did not. But it continues along the line of, can't you step up and be a man? And yes, there is a division, but this furthers the division. The fact that you can't stand up simply supports what everybody feels.
Yeah, it's just, there's certain things. We talked about this as like kind of a running theme in the last 10 years, is just the absence of shame. Shame is a governing factor to keep people's behavior modulated, is not
right.
Not
and it kind of supports, what is it that does, what is important to you.
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
It is.
All right, let's move over to what's been going on in college football. There was a quarterback named Brendan Sorsby who transferred into Texas Tech University, and there were some issues with his eligibility because of gambling and his addiction. And so there was a judge who is a Texas Tech supporter who ruled that he could play and there would not be any suspension moving forward. Well, that raised an eyebrow or two to the NCAA, and to the point where, this player gambled on 40 games, 40 that they can basically identify in this moment. That's a course of over 3 years. Okay, that is an addiction, and I guess he has gone to certain rehab places for that, but it's obviously a problem. And now you're asking the quarterback of Texas Tech to lead your team that he gambles on, and you're okay with that? And gambling now, once again, rears its ugly head and says, we got a problem here. The guy's betting on his own team, which, at least he's not betting against his team, but, you're betting and you're gambling. And, I've said this for the other broadcasts that we've done. This is not good. Not good at all.
This story, it's an incredible story because it kind of has every factor of what's wrong with college sports all rolled into one. Brandon Sorsby, this is Texas Tech is his third team. He transfers initially with Indiana, redshirted there, then transferred to Cincinnati, then transferred to Texas Tech. And according to reporting, he's bet over $90,000. He did conceal this betting he was using sock puppet accounts through friends and family. And you're 100% right, $90,000 in bets over 4 years on his own team 40 times using family and friends' gambling accounts. According to court documents filed by Sorsby and his representatives between September 2nd and October 22nd, 2022, he made 40 wagers on Indiana football or individual members of the individual football team. So he's betting not only on his team, but he's betting, these prop bets for these players itself.
So it's created a big enough problem, I guess, and the heat has risen because he filed to be in the NFL supplement draft, and that is not something that occurs regularly, yearly. It's not done very often, period. So I'm kind of curious as to what does that mean? What if he's not selected, but since he crossed that line, does he get to come back in if he's not drafted and resume his career in college football?
Well, and ostensibly, he'd still have to serve some sort of suspension because you had the NCAA, you had Texas Tech, and then you had the judicial system, all involved here. because the NCAA wanted to suspend him for going to rehab and for also betting on all these games.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, they want him to play obviously because he's actually quite a talented player. And then you have the legal system involved here, and so Sorsby himself has filed multiple lawsuits wanting to come back to Texas Tech. So I mean, we're going to see this again. We're probably going to see this multiple times until they figure out what they're going to do. Corey, I mean, what do you think? I mean, you're the degenerate gambler on the show, so I mean, like, is there any way to stop somebody from doing this?
No, I don't think so. And just because it's everywhere they are, they have it on their phones. They have it anywhere they need it, and it's not that hard to make an email for a different account. And so, unless and I don't even did he get caught or did he just come out and say he was gambling?
There's rumors of like it was about to be revealed that he was gambling, and so therefore he kind of got ahead of the story and got into rehab. I don't know how true that is or not, but I mean, kudos to him, I guess, for realizing he's got a problem and seeking treatment.
Yeah, I heard he was like betting on like handball in Istanbul and stuff. Like he was doing some.
Yeah, when you start like betting on the harness races like in Dubai, you got a problem.
Yeah, you do. And I would say that this what's happening is that this is a young age group, okay? And these players are 18, 19, 20 years old. They are vulnerable, okay? You don't know. Trust me, I've been there. I thought I had the world by the balls a couple of times and got slapped in the face saying, you really shouldn't think that way, to remind me that I didn't. And you're naive, and there's going to be a lot of people trying to persuade you. Everybody and with these nils, now you got money involved. You're getting paid besides the scholarship. It just opens the doors for a lot of people to try and influence you in some way.
Well, I think that's also what is going on right now as well. As a lot of the college students, they probably bet like games and stuff, but they never got to bet big money because they never had money. They had their per diems from the schools and stuff like this. But now you're just getting millions of dollars in the NIL, and then you have that money to gamble.
Well, also correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, before when you'd gamble, you go to the bookie, you'd have cash in the barrelhead, you go to Las Vegas, you cash in. Now these apps, I believe, are linked to your credit card. So you're betting on credit, which, I mean, ask the guys in 1929 how that worked out. It doesn't work out great.
Well, I mean, look, anytime that's why I'm just glad that I wasn't a gambler. I valued my dollar, and I made sure that I didn't, borrow my credit and be in trouble later on. Stay tuned with We'll See About That. We'll be right back after this. Hello, Ron Say. Okay, we're back with We'll See About That, and I briefly want to touch before we get into talking more about the incredible event that's happening in our country, the World Cup. But congratulations to the New York Knicks. They beat the San Antonio Spurs 4-1. Felt kind of bad for the San Antonio Spurs because 3 of those games that they lost, they had 20-point leads and evaporated every single one of them. And it was slow death, wasn't it? It's like I'm watching the last game as it turned out, and I'm saying they got another 19-point lead. Oh my God, this is not good news. It wasn't. It didn't turn out.
It was just so weird to watch because like every game the San Antonio Spurs would get like a 15, 16-point lead by the first quarter. They're playing dominant, and just for some reason, I don't know if it was conditioning, I don't know if it was halftime adjustments, the Knicks just came back, and you could see it in the San Antonio Spurs faces. This oh no, it's like that meme, like here we go again. And it's I just felt so bad for them. And congratulations to the Knicks. Congratulations to the city of New York. Congratulations to Alyssa, our friend, who's a huge Knicks fan. So yeah.
And I think in one of the I think it was Charles Barkley who said, this is one of the stupidest games a team could possibly play, because they took at a point where they could have been running their offense or taking time off the clock. They shot 8 straight threes and missed them. 8 straight. I mean, look, that is stupid basketball. And I understand that San Antonio's got the second youngest ever team that went into the finals, but you do have a couple of veterans okay? And you do have a coaching staff that should know what to do here to slow things down instead of speeding them up and taking quick shots. And I mean, really, why can't you just pass the ball 4 or 5 times, get Wembanyama downstairs, and feed the ball in and then kick it back in and kick it back out and whatever else, and take 20 seconds off the clock or whatever and make a shot and maybe get a rebound and then start the clock over again.
Yeah, in game 4 when they were up 29, if they would have literally just let the time 24 seconds last every time, they probably would have won.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't – I mean, look, even exchanging 2 for 3 is not going to give them enough possessions to do that. But when you don't get points and you're hoisting up threes, which I know is the name of the game today, but under the circumstances, man, you needed to take a strategy look here. You know, we don't need to rush anything. We don't need to put ourselves in jeopardy. So what did they do? Hoist threes.
Yeah. I mean, going back to all the gambling, it's like chasing it. You know,
So
it's
the funny thing about gambling, if you would have put $100 every time that the Knicks were down by the lowest, like so 16 in the first game, 18 in the second game, 29 in the fourth game, and 15. If you put $100 those 4 times, you would have come out with $24 million. If you would have bet that the Knicks would have won.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where it seems
Maybe
like
I should start gambling.
I know, right? We should all go in together. But Ron, you made a really good point because you gotta dance with what brought you here, and it seems like they just kind of just play your game plan. Like, pass the ball, move the ball, get it inside. But like you said, they seemed like to kind of chase it. When they saw those leads slipping away in the third and fourth quarter, they started to jack up way more threes. They started to miss those threes. The knees get a little wobbly.
You lose your focus. This is not. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to figure this out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all you have to know is that, hey, we can slow things down. We can take as much time as we need. And we don't even have to make an attempt. We can simply pass the ball around till 7 seconds is left on the shot clock and then get a reasonable shot, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that because now you've taken a minute off the clock if you did that twice on your end alone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're looking at probably 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. And at that point in time, in the second half, 2 minutes is a lot. You don't have enough possessions to get 29 points back.
No.
Nope. So yeah, I mean, I'm beating a dead horse here, but I mean, there was a lot to be desired on the mentality of which they looked at this game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the San Antonio Spurs mentally recover from this. I wouldn't be surprised if they made some changes at the coaching staff, but we shall see about
Yeah, well,
that.
it's a young coaching staff, too.
I saw Skip Bayless say that LeBron should go there.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, please. Please don't take LeBron. Please don't go there.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going to want a max contract. All right, gentlemen, let's move on and talk about the World Cup. The games have been somewhat fantastic, specifically Team USA. Team USA really shocked, I think, the country and the world by their dominant performance.
Well, let's hope they do it again because there's a lot of good teams out there. And, yes, it's only, the first bracket, kind of the qualifying round to move forward. But they did. It was hailed as one of the best World Cup victories in U.S. history. And really a good sign. And, France won. They are the number 1 team in the world, aren't they, in the World Cup ranking?
Yeah.
So Mbappe had a good game there. He's climbing up the goal list in terms of all-time performances in World Cup history. And Germany was very impressive in their win, and they're one of the better teams, obviously. Argentina had a great start. Lionel Messi, his first hat trick ever in World Cup competition, and is now also tied for the most goals in World Cup history. And with the number of games that they're going to have to play in the future, I would say there's probably a pretty good chance he's going to break that record.
I would imagine so, too.
100%.
And he's no young spring chicken either.
No.
I mean, he's been doing this for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really impressive that he can do this now at this advanced age. I think Germany looks really, really tough.
Yeah, the teams. England won a tough game, as it turned out, 4-2. too. Harry Kane, one of their star older players, had a terrific game. Spain, Portugal, both struggled with draws. Ronaldo, nothing happened there. Kind of wonder, because Portugal and Spain are, when you talk about World Cup, they have a pretty good history here. And I'm kind of surprised.
Well, don't forget to mention Brazil, too, with Morocco holding them.
Brazil, too, yeah. Brazil did not have a great game first round, but it is the first round. And, I imagine that if they are supposed to be the best team in the bracket, that it'll even out at some point in time. But that's why you play a round robin. Everybody's got to get, their feet wet a little bit. But I would pretty much you normally you see the teams that are favored, at least in the preliminary rounds, move forward. And then it gets kind of sticky after that, because there's some good teams moving forward. Mexico's doing well. They won their first game.
Yeah, Mexico and South Korea both leading their bracket. Yeah. And some interesting upsets, a lot of draws, like you said. And let me ask you this. I mean, this World Cup is, I remember the last time it was here in the United States, 1994. They had a lot of games at the Rose Bowl.
Oh yeah.
And but I can't imagine it's
spread out.
It is spread out. I mean, the people that I know that are not even casual sports fans are watching World Cup games. And did you ever think? I mean, you're the great sportsman of our country here. Did you ever think soccer would get this big?
I've always considered soccer to be the world game, but I did not think that it would have the power that it now has in this country because of all the sports that we play. And it's taken a while. I used to play soccer when I was in grade school.
Yeah, me too.
And it was, a game. Like Foursquare was a game. And, badminton was a game. And now, we have a pro league, in our country. And we have some of the greatest players. Messi, for one, playing in Miami. And it's taken the LAFC, didn't they win their championship?
They won.
Yeah. So it's growing, and surprisingly well. My grandson, Julian, his favorite sport right now is soccer.
Yeah, my little nephew Sam. I mean, he's obsessed with it. He's obsessed with soccer.
I think there's a place, because soccer is a small man's game. You don't see 250-pound guys running around on a soccer field. Okay, they can't do that.
No.
You look at Messi. Messi is 5'7" at best. Ronaldo's what, 5'10", maybe 5'11", but I mean that's kind of tall for a soccer player. But they are. When they put those odometers on them or whatever they call them, to gauge how many miles they run, they're putting out between 5 and 6 miles a game. That's pretty substantial. Plus, there are bursts there. It's not like you're running a marathon where you're just trying to run 430 miles. You have to sprint. And you have to cover, and you have to, you have to be able to be athletic. You've got to cover. It's like a cornerback. When these guys are dribbling, you have to defend, and it's like a cornerback trying to cover a wide receiver. It's not that easy. And I love the game because I've gotten more familiar with it.
Yeah.
And it's a ball control type of game, and usually the better teams in the world, like Barcelona and like Madrid. They have a set way of passing. And if you really start looking at the patterns that they run, it's pretty cool to watch.
It is. And it's similar to baseball in terms of a viewing experience where it's an anticipatory sport where it's not that high scoring, but it's like every chance is exciting.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's important. Also, I think that the growth of the sport, as you said, is youth soccer in this country. I think the video game was FIFA was a really big part of how the game has grown. But the athleticism is something to behold, and the skill involved now. Because I think a lot of people who watch the Premier League It's far more physical. But to watch the international game like this, it's far more skill-based, a lot of passing. I think it's fantastic. Stick around, you guys. We'll be right back. You're listening to We'll See About That, the Ron Say Show. With the legend, the champion, MVP, Ron Say. I'm Mike Gary. Corey Maria. Stay with us.
The fans are rooting for the Dodgers.
All right, we are back. We'll see about that. Make sure to follow Ron Say on Instagram. The official Ron Say is on Facebook too. Ron Say. And this week in Dodger baseball history, this is a big one, folks. 1973, the Los Angeles Dodgers infield of Steve Garvey, Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, and Mr. Ron Say played together for the first time in a game against the Philadelphia Phillies at Veterans Stadium. Sadly, the Dodgers lost 16-3, but the moment marked the beginning of the most successful infield of all time. Congratulations, Ron.
Yeah, that was a hell of a debut. I'm glad I wasn't pitching that day. Yeah, it was the start of what would turn out to be the most successful infield in Major League history. And there's 4 World Series and a World Championship, and every member of that infield was a multiple-time All-Star. So, yeah, that was quite a time. Quite a time for our fans.
Most successful infield of all time. You know what's not been necessarily that successful? What's going on recently between the United States and Iran? We have a new deal.
Oh, yes, we do.
This deal, it's a ceasefire and it's a framework. And pretty much it's like an agreement to start an agreement to get a deal. Yeah. And right now, the Strait of Hormuz is supposedly being reopened. It's going to take a little bit to demine it. Also, the Iranians can now unilaterally begin to sell oil. Sanctions have been relieved. Frozen funds have been unfrozen. A $300 billion reconstruction fund is proposed. President Trump says that this would not include any taxpayer dollars. We'll see about that. It's supposed to come from all Gulf countries. Most notably, there is no framework about curtailing Iran's nuclear ambitions, nor so their technologies to seek ballistic missiles. There's also put some guardrails on to protect the borders of Lebanon, which Israel doesn't like. And to juxtapose this against the JCPOA, the deal that Mr. Obama put into place in 2015, all points are saying that this new deal is far worse than the JCPOA. The JCPOA had a binding nuclear deal at a hard cap on enrichment levels, centrifuges, and so on and so forth. This new deal is primarily a ceasefire. The nuclear section is 1 paragraph and intentionally vague. And Iran will downblend on site under supervision of the IAEA. We'll see if that keeps happening. But less nuclear restraint for more economic relief. JCPOA traded deep specific nuclear limits for phased sanction relief. The MOU. The new deal offers big economic concessions while nuclear arms stay fuzzy. Ron, just my view from 1,000 feet, it seemed that President Trump's, he saw his approval ratings going down. He wanted to get gas prices down, and so he pretty much capitulated, and this is a loss for us.
I think that is a consensus from what I have read. I know that there's also $24 billion in frozen assets that are going to be released. The Obama administration was going to pay far less than $300 billion for reconstruction.
Yeah, $1.7 billion is what.
Yeah, 1.7. Yeah. I thought I said, well, there's $300 billion here.
Yeah,
1.7.
And that $1.7 billion was, despite what some people in the next room might think, that was not United States taxpayer money. That was actually assets already frozen here that Iran owned.
And the fact that now Iran can sell their oil means that in the meantime of digging for this uranium that will take years to find and get, it was an easy deal, my understanding, for them to sign, because now they can sell their oil and they can basically restock.
They can sell their oil. They can now have sanctions relief. And I think most importantly is they've proven to the world that by shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, that they now have a chip to play whenever, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. Well, it is also a fact, I believe, that we didn't do what we said we did. Because they had plenty of ability to defend their position. And so, yeah, the beat goes on.
Let's talk about something a little bit more fun. Let's talk about baseball, and let's talk about Mr. Ron Say, the legend, the champion, the MVP, some of his takes on his career, baseball. I'm going to do a little word association. Just a brief questions up front. First, Ron, you faced some of the greatest players ever. Which Hall of Famers gave you the toughest at bats?
Oh boy, yeah, all of them. But you know, the funny thing about that is that I had more trouble with, you know, guys named A through Z than I did some of the Hall of Famers. You know, the guys that say, oh, geez. And I even looked at it because I went through my, you know, there's a place where you can go where you can see every at-bat, faced every pitcher, every game, anything about you. And I'm saying, oh, my God, you know, I was that bad against this guy, you know. I said, I won 1 for 25 against this guy. I said, you know, I hit Nolan Ryan a lot better than that, you know. And, yeah, Nolan Ryan struck me out like he struck everybody else out. But Nolan Ryan was not I didn't have a lot of production against Nolan. I think I only hit 1 home run off of Nolan. But I, you know, I hit like, what, 280 off of him, you know, and there were other guys that, I mean, you know, I kind of drew a line, you know, the Mendoza line. Did I hit under 200 against this guy? And there were guys that I'm saying, oh my God, you know, we didn't have access to all of this like they do now today. Back then,
all the video stuff, all that kind of
stuff. Yeah, all the videos, because we didn't really use videos until much later, and we went by feel. And so that is a much different take. You know, we couldn't review, you know, our at-bats against this guy and that guy. We didn't have the ability to do it until probably the early 80s. And so when you talk about, you know, Tom Seaver and Steve Carlton, who both are one of the best right-handed pitchers in Major League history, both one of the better left-handed pitchers in Major League history. Steve Carlton won like 329 games or something, 329. Struck out a lot of guys. I think he's second all time and maybe right behind Randy Johnson for second left-handed pitchers. I think it goes Nolan, Randy Johnson, and then maybe Steve Carlton. But Tom Seaver won 300 and some games and had a lot of strikeouts and was a multiple Cy Young Award winner, just like Steve Carlton. I had more home runs against Tom Seaver, right-handed, more home runs against left-handed pitcher Steve Carlton than anybody else.
Wow.
And I didn't think that I hit them well. I hurt them. I didn't hit them well. My batting average was not like Nolan Ryan's. And I also had more RBIs against Tom Seaver, pardon me. So Seaver leads 2 categories. Most home runs I hit against anybody, and I drove in more runs against Tom Seaver than anybody else. Wow. I don't know why. I mean, it happened. But, you know, Vida Blue was a guy that I probably had a better cross-section of production, but I only faced him like 25, 30 times. But I hurt him really good everywhere. But, you know, there were other guys that, you know, named, you know, Tom Smith that, you know, I couldn't get a hit off of. I couldn't hit a pop-up fly ball off of, you know, but it's just kind of strange. It's actually more of a style that bothers you, I think. And the guy that I've always said that was the toughest for me, and probably not statistically, was Kent Tekulve, because he threw from down under.
Yeah.
And it's more of a softball, you know, motion. It's coming from down here, and usually everything's up here. So I just had a lot of trouble gauging, you know, where the release point, and I really felt uncomfortable. And I did more moving in the box on this guy than I did anybody else by far. I moved in, I moved back, I moved up, I moved back in the box. I couldn't find a comfortable spot. And no matter if I was in a hot streak or not, when he was pitching, I all of a sudden got uncomfortable. You know, I just couldn't figure it out. I got some hits off him, not to say that, but it was just really an uncomfortable at bat.
What's the bullseye on the forehead story?
The bullseye on the forehead story simply means the pressure that we were playing under here. And it wasn't put out by the organization. It's just that when you try and understand the history and tradition of what we had. And, much like the Yankees have the best history and tradition, the best overall record. They are the king of the roost here. We could live another lifetime and nobody would still catch them in terms of all the world championships they won, because nobody's that even remotely close. I think they have 20-some, high 20s.
27, I believe.
27, and then I think the St. Louis Cardinals have 11. Well, I mean, in 140 years or 50 years of baseball, they're still twice as many world championships ahead. But there's a standard there, okay? So, you'd rather beat the New York Yankees more than anybody else. This is New York. You're going to Yankee Stadium? Oh, my God, the Taj Mahal of baseball, right? So it just makes sense. And when you look at our history over here in the National League, we are right there with the St. Louis Cardinals. And I've always included the Cardinals because they do have some more toys than we do, okay? They have more things on the wall than we do. And yet, with our other history that we have, like Jackie Robinson, the first black player, and all this other stuff that we have in our arsenal as far as your history and tradition is concerned, we stack up. So, there's a big blue bullseye in the middle of your forehead. And then back in the time that we were playing, we were the only team that had our own private plane.
Yeah, that was a big,
Okay.
Yeah,
It was.
They didn't like that,
Okay.
the rest of the guys in the
Well,
league.
it's like, they kind of hung it over our head. At least Al Campanis did at times. And I know it was part joke, part reality, that, hey, there's a lot of guys who would love to fly on that plane. Well, my answer to that was, not on my watch. Not on my watch that's going to happen. And I pretty much felt that, we understood, that we had something that everybody else wanted, because those players back then were flying commercial, not charter.
Yeah.
Which means that if you had a Sunday day game at Dodger Stadium and we had a relatively quick game and we were scheduled normally to leave at 6 o'clock, if we got there at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, we're gone. We're leaving. And they would wait for their 9 o'clock commercial flight.
Yeah, getting accosted in the airport by people, fans.
And not first class seating, and sitting with a bunch of people that you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So it was really different. And that's one of the reasons. And, we were, there was a bit of cockiness, and all of that was understandable under the circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys did have the bullseye. I mean, you're so successful as well. And I think that if the Dodgers continue to spend the kind of money they're spending now, maybe you might see them eclipse the Yankees by 2050. Stick around, you guys. We'll be right back to wrap things up. Corey's excited about that. Stick around. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Wrap things up here. We'll see about that with the legend, the champion, MVP, Mr. Ron Cey.
Hey, Ron. How you doing?
Okay, we're back to wrap things up, and we'll see about that. I want to thank you all for joining us. I do have something that I would like to mention. I had a very good friend who was a friend of the show. Comedian Tom Dreesen passed away here recently. He used to open for Frank Sinatra for years and years. I think he has more appearances on the Johnny Carson show than anybody else in history. So my condolences go out to those family members that might be still around. But Tom Dreesen was a really good friend, big Cub fan, terrific friend.
Yeah, sorry for your loss, Ron. And if people want to go back and listen to the interview that we did with Tom, it's episode 11, and you can find that on Spotify, Google, Apple, or on the website, theronsashow.com. Also, we lost kind of somebody important to me, Walter Paraziter. He was the founding sax and flute player of Chicago. And when I was a little kid, a lot of Chicago's played my house, and so.
Oh yeah, I used to love Chicago. Yeah, they've got some tremendous songs, and he was really a versatile musician. Played all kinds of different things.
And that, if you guys, Corey, if you want to get into Chicago, they got some jams, dude.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, they
got
do.
some
They really do.
jams. USC.
All right. Yeah, USC's probably shaking their head right now because the College World Series is down to its final two schools, North Carolina and Oklahoma. And that will be a best of three. And USC, why they should probably be shaking their heads is because they had North Carolina beat in the Super Regionals and let it get away in the bottom of the ninth. So sorry about that, but there was no West Coast schools in this year's College World Series, which was a disappointment. It was dominated, much like the Women's College Softball World Series, which was won by Texas, the Lady Longhorns, by the SEC. So that's pretty much it from the baseball side of stuff.
Patrick Mahomes, $500 million contract extension.
Yeah, they've realigned it because of what's going on. I don't know. Is that a little bit much?
For his
60,
age?
62 per year.
62 per year.
62 per year.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Plus
old is
the
he?
endorsements.
He's 32.
Yeah. Plus the endorsements.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Aaron Rodgers is back too, so we'll have another year of Aaron Rodgers.
Great. Fabulous.
All right. I don't understand what's going on in Pittsburgh. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next weekend. Thank you.